Okay, everybody. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. Um, I would put my face on, but I'm just so tired, and it's been. Okay, so anyway, sorry, I'm back up. I think. There we go. Now we're blazing. We got it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to take some questions from you guys. I'm kind of tired, but I really did want to talk to everyone and and give you guys an update and try to take some of your answers now, questions, I mean, and answer them the best I can. So just let me know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me okay? Free Willy. Okay, terrific. Um, so what's happening is because, I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen next there. Nobody knows who's going to get arrested or what they have planned. It's kind of really kind of so, but just to be on the safe side. So I took the iPad that we have belongs to me. There's really nothing on it. My personal things like, connections to my Facebook and things like that. So there's no documents, but I didn't bring our the pole that everything goes on, his rig, because I thought, well, if we get pulled over, I don't want them to be confiscated, and and so I left all those behind with someone that I trust, and so I'm holding the iPad right now, right? So you guys can see yourselves typing on there, putting your questions in there. Just tell me if you can hear me okay, right? Okay. And let me just try to think of everything that's been happening. I talked to Brandon Curtis. Brandon Curtis is the head of the Idaho 3%ers, and in conjunction with the Pacific Network, the Pacific Patriot Network, they are responding to a I don't know how to put it. They are responding to they're responding to the people of Burns who want to protest the death of Lavoy Finicum, and they want to ask these are the people of Burns, okay, you guys? It's a big deal for them. They want to ask the sheriff to resign. They want to ask the judge to resign. And they want the FBI to leave their town. Now, they are planning a rally, and I will let you guys know as soon as I know when that is going to be. They're asking that people come from across the nation unarmed. It is not an armed rally, but it is in support. They've asked the people of Burns for support. I'm sorry. They've asked the Idaho 3%ers and the Pacific Patriot Network for support so that they can hold this rally, so they can hold this protest and feel safe. Okay? And they would love the support of the nation. That's the biggest thing that's happening today. I'm in Portland right now. Pete is going to be arraigned tomorrow. I'm not sure about everybody else. I would imagine they are going to be arraigned too. We did get word, and I haven't been able to confirm this or not, but they said that the FBI or somebody said that there would be no arraignments, there would be no bail until the refuge was cleared, which I think is a crock of shit, quite honestly. It's not fair if that is the case. I haven't been able to confirm that. It's just something that was whispered into my ear, and I am, I haven't had time to do anything. I was in the trip from Burns, Oregon to Portland is mountainous, and there's no cell phone service, much like it is in Burns. But I'm in a pretty good spot now. It looks like I have a great connection. So, I see that everybody's having a hard time in chat. Being mature as usual. But that's okay. So I'm going to answer some questions for you guys. I just wanted to give you an update and let you know what was happening here. Before I do start taking questions, I do want to say to the people of Burns that I'm so proud of you. I think that you have a right to protest. You have a right to have your voices heard. Those of you who don't agree with what happened, that it doesn't just have to be cheerleading for the sheriff or the judge or for the FBI there. You have a right to protest. You've done nothing wrong, and it's about damn time. Let's not let Lavoy Fennekim die in vain, regardless of what you think, and what you think about what they did up there at the refuge, how they did it, why they did it. The people of Burns are decent people, and they haven't had a voice for a very long time, and so now they do, and they know how to get that voice heard, and we're proud of them tonight. This is not a rally that the Idaho 3%ers or the Pacific Patriot Network is planning. This is totally and completely the idea of the people of Burns. So we will see what happens. I was so down. I was so very upset yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday. I found out that Lavoy Fennekim's birthday was the same day as mine. I was in my room packing things up and just being, sad. And so I had a little knock at my door, and there was like 10 people outside my door, and they had candles, and it was locals, of course. The Idaho, Brandon Curtis and Brooke hadn't shown up yet. I was kind of waiting around for them to see if they were going to show up, and so I thought maybe it was them outside, but it was people with candles, and there was about 10 people standing around, and they told me they had signs that had Lavoy's photo on it, and it said "All Lives Matter" underneath it, and they told me they were going to have a candlelight vigil for him, and I said, and they asked me if I wanted to join them, and I said, oh gosh, you know what, you guys, I don't know. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should. I don't know if it will be perceived as, intimidating or antagonizing the FBI. And I mean, things were just so crazy there. But then 10 people turned into 20, and 20 people turned into 30, and 34 people turned into 40. And the next thing you know, there's like 100 people in the parking lot of my hotel. And I couldn't say no, because I thought to myself, I've been here for a month, and I've told these people to stop being afraid of the government. And if I go back in my room and close this door, then what kind of example is that? Can you guys still hear me? So I don't know if you guys just heard my story. Of course, this is, you know, I don't know. So anyway, um, they were standing outside my door, and I couldn't say no because, I mean, seriously, if I can't, what what was I doing there that whole time if I can't step outside of my comfort zone when I'm afraid of what the government is going to do to me, and not stand with the people that, I have um, just really grown to love and respect. So I went with them, and we walked 2 or 3 blocks down the street. It was around 7 o'clock at night, so it was dark, and the candles looked amazingly beautiful. The press had gotten wind of it, so they were everywhere trying to keep up with everybody. And we went about 3 blocks, maybe even 4 blocks down to the intersection, and then we crossed over to the other side of the street and walked back up. And in Burns, right at one of the streets, you can see up the hill is the courthouse, and they have it all barricaded off. And we stopped in that intersection and faced the police department, and they had their signs of Lavoie and their photos of him on their signs, and they said to the police, "This is the face of the man that you murdered." And we proceeded to walk back to the hotel. I cried with them. I hugged them. People are so upset. They just can't believe what happened. Anybody who ever met Lavoie knows that he was a very soft-spoken man, very smart, articulate. He was a family man. He was not a terrorist, you know. I don't even want to look at the chat room right now because people are so ugly sometimes. But, I saw him every day during press conferences, and spoke with him at length a few times, just like everybody else did. He told us all that he didn't expect to live through this. He told his family that. He told several people that. Um, that, he just knew in his heart that he was going to be one of those people who didn't make it out of this. And he said that he was ready. He said that he was ready for that. And it just made me sad, to even hear him say that. I was like, oh my goodness, don't be talking like that. And I'm thinking, my gosh, I mean, how can we hear this? I mean, because the man that's standing in front of you is so strong and vibrant. And I mean, the man was in his 60s, and I saw him one day. I was sitting in the vehicle, and there was a fence down around a building that he had just come out of. And instead of taking the sidewalk, Lavoie Fennekim jumped up on top of the fence and jumped over the damn thing. I mean, it was just amazing. I watched him work and use his hands down at the, for down inside the refuge. When we were filming, I saw him doing things that, he got around very, very well, and you could just tell that he was a man that was used to hard work. So he always had a smile. He had perfect teeth, by the way. His smile was so bright and just, it was so real. He was a real person, and he was happy to see you. When he flashed that smile at you, you knew that, it was especially for you. He was a genuinely beautiful person, and really was happy to see you. And when he spoke with you, you had his attention. He didn't just look through you or um, pretend like he was interested or pretend like he was listening. He honestly, truly did listen. He looked you in the eye, and he just had this smile, and the crow's feet around his eyes would wrinkle up when he smiled at you, and he was just an amazing person. I was talking to Giselle Lamar. She is a producer for NBC, and she and I were talking about Lavoie, and she had come to respect him. She was so sad because um, she got to know him on the same level that I did, and I mean, we just sat in silence when we first heard. I mean, we just couldn't believe it. It was it was just so surrealistic, you know. It would have been hard to lose any of those people, to tell you the truth. Did they do a bad thing? Did they do the right thing? I mean, who can second guess something like that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I spent the last month trying to figure out if what they were doing is a good thing, or because I was so worried about them. I mean, I knew the day would come. They kept, you know, the FBI and the sheriff and the judge kept warning them that they were going to do something. But then, you know, these guys would go out, they would walk up to the sheriffs, they would walk up to the FBI, everybody would shake hands, everybody was so nice. It was like they lulled them into this false sense of security and totally caught them off guard. You know? It was like, you know, we knew that what the FBI is capable of, and we knew what the sheriff was capable of, and the judge. We knew that they hated them. But how could they treat them, you know, shake their hand and turn around and kill one of them the next minute? You know, it was like, it was confusing to me because when I would see them interact, especially the sheriff's department, how they interacted with Pete, how they interacted with Ammon Bundy, John Ritzheimer, all of these guys who came into town, were eating at restaurants. They never made a move on these guys. And when they came to town unarmed. None of them were ever armed when they came to town, and they came to town every day. Just a few days before they were pulled over, Ammon Bundy went to a cafe and had lunch with one of the locals there, Big Randy. He's going to know who I'm talking about, in a public place. No doubt there was FBI because there was FBI everywhere. And they didn't take him. Just, that was 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days before the ambush. So I kept thinking to myself, well, you know what? They're not going to do this. They're going to wait them out. And they're going to wait until they get tired, and they're going to wait till the group falls apart naturally. You know? But then we were getting intel from people that were coming into town, and it was easy to see that the FBI was building up its personnel. And these people kept telling us they are going to lock this mofo down. They're going to lock it down. They're going to blockade the roads, and they're going to start arresting people. So when I got the news that they had ambushed these guys on a mountain road, I couldn't have been any more shocked. I couldn't have been. And just for the record, Lavoie Fennicum was the only person who did not come to that town and patronize the businesses there and spend his money there. He stayed on that refuge. I don't believe I ever saw him leave. Now and come into town. Now I do know that he was going to meetings. The FBI, the sheriff, they were all totally aware of the meetings that these men were going to. Why they chose this one, I just don't know. You know, they knew that Ammon Bundy would come into town. I mean, all those guys did. It was common knowledge. They would go to, you know, they went everywhere. They went everywhere. And why they chose to do what they did on that mountain road, I'll never know. I'll never figure that out. I never will. So, all right, I'm gonna look at the. I'm sorry, I'm moving around here, but I'm gonna look at the. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I know this is like super unprofessional, but I really wanted to talk to you guys, and I wanted to give you an update. You guys can see my room. You like that? I'm trying to get in a position. I'm sorry I'm moving around, but I'm trying to get in a position, David, for his arrest, a warrant, whatever it is, and so what they're basically saying is that from December the 27th, when we left Cincinnati, Pete called for people to come to Burns, Oregon, and he continued to call for people to come to Burns, Oregon, and that he basically impeded the ability for federal employees to go to work at the refuge. He kept them from doing their job. So, I mean, that's what they're charging him with. So, you know, a conspiracy, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, since when in the United States of America are you not allowed to call for people to come to a protest, to come to a rally, you know? And you know, that's just one thing we're gonna have to get past, I guess, but that's the official charge right now. Now they can add to that, take away from that, we'll see. But he really hasn't said much, you know, to me. When he calls, I only have just a few minutes to talk to him, and I only talked to him twice. So, and a lot of it was just about, you know, who am I speaking to, like his attorneys and things like that. So we're getting that together, and again, he's in good spirits, and you know, he seems to be taking all of this in stride and taking it very well. So I really don't know. I watched the video from the FBI that they posted up. I think they thought that it would help their cause. Clearly, they believed that they were justified in what they did to Lavoie, and you know, I mean, I watched it, and I'm looking at somebody die that I cared about. So you know, I cared about what happened to him anyway, you know, and a lot of people did. A lot of people cared about what happened to Lavoie, and I had just met his beautiful wife over the weekend. Early on, his daughter brought some of his grandchildren down. So, they were beautiful, and he was so proud of them, and, you know, I don't know, you guys. I mean, what do you say? What do you say at a time like this? I don't know. It's like, So many times I just wanted them all to leave because I was so frightened for what was going to happen to them, you know. And I voiced that opinion to them, you know. I did to quite a few people in the refuge. I just some days I would just go down there during a press conference and just watch them all, and they were all smiling, and you know, they were just milling about cleaning up the refuge, you know, and they were happy, and I was worried. I was worried about them because I knew that when the sheriff said the hourglass is running low, and he kept saying your time is running out, I believed him. I believed him, and I knew their time was running out. But then again, they would let them go in and out of town. So, I mean, who's to say? Who's to say why they did that? I don't know. But I did watch. I want you guys to know too that I met Victoria Sharp, the girl who was the 18-year-old girl who was in the car with Lavoy, and she's just such a sweet girl. I mean, that whole family is really a sweet family. I have no reason to believe that what she said was. I have no reason to believe that she was lying, or that she was making things up. I just have no reason to believe that. So, you know, I did have a conversation with Mark McConnell, the guy who was driving Ammon Bundy. I will not talk about what he said, because I'm going to reserve that right to not talk about that. But I did ask him a question, and you know, because I just don't understand how someone can be driving a vehicle, have a weapon on them, and driving a vehicle with Ammon Bundy and other, you know, other leaders of this whole thing, spend time on the refuge, armed, and obviously protecting Ammon Bundy and leaders down there. I don't understand how I don't understand why he was let go. I mean, I'll just be honest with you, and I told him that. I don't get it. I don't understand how they could arrest Pete Santilli for asking patriots to come and be a buffer between the people on the inside and the FBI so that they couldn't do a Waco on them, and a guy who was driving basically and guarding, you know, Ammon Bundy, the guy that the FBI looked at as a terrorist. I mean, how did Mark McConnell get out of that? I don't understand it, and you know, I don't get it. I don't. I just don't, and a lot of other people don't get it either. Now, I'm not going to accuse him of anything, you know. I'm not going to accuse him of anything. But I have big questions about that. And I had big questions for him, and I watched his demeanor when he was in my room yesterday and I was talking to him. And there's just something that's not right there. I mean, that's just how I feel. That's how I feel. So I won't say specifically what he had to say to me, but, you know, I walked away from my conversation with Mark McConnell not satisfied that he was being completely honest. And there you go. So really, that's about all I have to say. I mean, I'll go get Kenny, Orange Hat Man, and he and I will give you guys an update here in just a little bit. I'm going to find out what these guys are doing and see what they want to do, and I'll have Kenny come on with me because he's fearless and he will say things that I won't. You guys know how Kenny is, right? But things are going to be happening in Burns. And again, I just in case the FBI is listening, I am not inviting people to come to Burns. I am telling the people that the 3%ers and the Pacific Patriot Network put out a message this afternoon saying that the citizens of Burns, Oregon, have requested their assistance in holding a rally to ask for the resignation of Sheriff David Ward and Stephen Grassley, and also with the assistance of asking the FBI to leave Harney County. It's not my rally. It's not my idea. I'm just putting it out there to the public. Okay? There you go. So we'll be back with you guys here. Give me just a few to get Kenny together and find out what these guys want to do. And I will be back with you guys in a minute. Thanks a lot, you guys. I love you all. And I'll have Kenny over here because he has fun. He has fun talking to you guys. Okay, talk to you in a minute. Bye.